curious to know, can we extend curriculum mapping to extracurricular activities?
That's a great question.
If we haven't already done so. Like, I mean, typically what comes to mind is music, arts, sports.
Well,
They're
they're
curriculum.
subjects. They're subjects. They're not extracurricular. They're in the curriculum. So let's separate out anything in the school curriculum, and that includes your music, K-12, includes your art. There's an art curriculum. There's a physical education. They all map. All those teachers map. Absolutely. And frankly, in some ways, they have a better job. They have not an easier job, but they have a more straightforward job because they're very performance-oriented. You know, the neat thing about the arts and athletics is kids always have evidence of how they're doing because it's performed. If I want to know how you're doing with a piano piece by Bartok, and I'm looking at the first segment of that piece, I'll watch you, I'll listen to you. In basketball, you want me to work on three-point shots, the perimeter pockets of the court, I can see you. What's interesting then is when they map and they're putting in the content, the skills, and the assessments, it tends to be very fluid, and often one teacher has multiple years. So I'm an elementary teacher, you know what I'm going with. I might be the same physical education teacher, kindergarten through grade 5 or something like that. They map. But extracurricular, I view, is different. That's different. That's different. That's an interesting idea. You can map anything. So yes, absolutely you could. If you were looking at an after-school club or a athletic team or some sort of a learning experience, absolutely you could. And here's how it would play out. You do it through a form I think we call diary mapping, which is we do it as we go. We keep track of what experiences the kid had. I also think that would be a very good thing for students to map. You've given me an idea.
Yes, yes. Because I mean,
I like it a lot, actually.
What I feel at East, and I think a lot of people feel, is that you have two lives. One is your core subjects, that you have homework every day, and you know, everyone goes through that daily grind. But then everyone also looks forward to the after-school things. Like, for instance, during this conference, this 3-day conference, these 3 days there will be a school play going on, and I've done musical theater before. This year we're putting on Oklahoma. Last year we did My Fair Lady, and I'm just thinking if we can add uniformity, but also add another dimension.
Well, I think here's where I'd put it. Remember how I mentioned, actually I do know where it is done, and I'd actually could direct you to something you might find of interest. Remember my point about Rhode Island? And I mentioned how students have digital portfolios? That does appear there. That's where it shows up. But it is done through the student, and I think that's the appropriate place. A teacher could, I mean, from the teacher point of view, if I were the drama club advisor and I was directing you in Oklahoma, I could absolutely map exactly what we're working on. I could even do a we call them projected maps and diary maps. Projected maps are sort of like an itinerary. This is what I hope will happen. Then there's the real trip, and you talk about what really does. Diary you do as you go. So as a drama coach, I could say, well, here's my plan. The first 2 months we're going to work on our lines. We're going to do a little basic blocking. We're going to work on some of the fundamental songs. Then I'm going to work in more intensive ensemble work, and we'll work to dress rehearsals. And I kind of lay it out. But I could map out as I go what really happened and document it. But more important, it seems to me, is this is a core piece of student motivation, because students choose their extracurricular in public education. You don't choose most of the things you study. I mean, you may have a few electives, but you don't choose. You take an AP Gov course. I just heard you just came from advanced. You didn't design that course. College Board designed that course.
Right.
And the teachers make choices on how they'll deliver it to you. But you didn't ask for it. And it doesn't mean it's not worthwhile or worthy or fascinating, but it's different from extracurricular, which is, hey man, this is me. This is what I want to do. I'm choosing this. This is the sport I want to play. There's something in that that's really should be 100% elective, though I know some kids are pressured into doing things. And to me, that would be, the portfolio piece would be interesting. But that's an area to pursue a little more. You really have got me thinking. Thank you.
So I guess that's the next.
Yeah, you want to be on the next workshop? You want to?
That's the next book on extracurricular, and then wherever it goes on from there.